Some artists earned their legendary status through flawless performances and critical praise. Others got there by being so spectacularly, magnificently awkward that the world couldn't look away. These are 10 bands so cringe, they accidentally became legends. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Number 10. Corey Feldman and Truth Movement.
They match your name with shame. They point and laugh at you that nobody knows their name.
The morning of September 16, 2016, millions of Americans turned on the Today Show expecting light entertainment. What they got was a sequined, hooded spectacle that stopped the internet cold. Feldman, once a beloved child star of films like The Goonies and Stand By Me, descended a staircase surrounded by dancers in angel wings, delivering a performance of his single Go For It that left anchors visibly speechless. The choreography was erratic, the vocal pitch uncertain, and the production design looked assembled from a Halloween store clearance rack. The clip accumulated millions of views within 48 hours of airing and became one of the most discussed viral moments of September 2016, generating coverage from Rolling Stone, The Guardian, and Entertainment Weekly. Feldman subsequently announced tour dates in support of Angelic to the Core, leaning into the renewed attention the performance generated. Audiences who initially clicked to mock found themselves strangely moved by the sheer conviction behind every sequin and every off-key note. His album found a second life as a cult artifact, studied by music journalists as a fascinating case of outsider art existing inside mainstream television. The cringe became the credential. Number 9. Blood on the Dance Floor. Few acts in the history of the internet age generated more unified disgust than this Florida duo. The neon-drenched, aggressively juvenile MySpace era produced many strange cultural artifacts, but Davi Vanity and Javon Monroe operated on a level entirely their own. Their music blended screaming electronic beats with candy-colored horror imagery and lyrics so aggressively provocative, they read like a dare to the listener to press stop. Critics dismissed them instantly. Music blogs written in 2009 and 2010 treated them as the clearest possible evidence that the internet had broken something fundamental about taste. Yet their fan base, built entirely outside traditional radio and press, proved ferociously loyal. Their 2012 album Evolution charted on the Billboard Heatseekers albums chart, a remarkable result for an act with zero mainstream radio support. Hundreds of thousands of teenagers in tutus and fishnets found something genuine in the chaos. The ridicule came from above. The legend was built entirely from below, one black lit bedroom at a time.
Must be a witch, 'cause I am living in hell.
Number 8. Creed.
Can you take me high?
28 million albums sold in the United States alone. By any commercial measure, they were one of the defining bands of their era. But the cultural conversation around them ran almost entirely parallel to that success, because Creed became the band everyone loved to despise. Scott Stapp's vocal delivery, a thick, dramatic growl frequently compared to a man discovering religion while falling down a staircase, inspired parody accounts, dedicated hate forums, and an entire South Park episode. The breaking point came during a concert at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, on December 29, 2002, where Stapp's performance was so impaired that fans filed a lawsuit demanding refunds. The spectacle was catastrophic in the moment and immortal in retrospect. Yet Human Clay had already sold over 11 million copies in the US by that point, and with Arms Wide Open won the Grammy for Best Rock Song in 2001. Their earnestness, the very quality that made critics cringe, resonated deeply with millions of listeners who wanted exactly that sincerity from their music. Legacy intact, mockery ongoing.
Children, don't stop dancing.
Number 7. Limp Bizkit.
Hey man, wake up and smell the concrete. It's strange to see you change like the LB. Could be a
7 times platinum. That is what Significant Other achieved after its June 22, 1999 release, making it one of the fastest-selling rock albums of the decade. Fred Durst arrived as a cultural figure so aggressively of his moment that he seemed almost engineered to be embarrassing in hindsight. The backwards red cap, The barked declarations about the nookie, the leather pants, and frosted tips, all of it coalesced into something critics found almost physically painful to engage with seriously. Woodstock 1999 became the defining document of both their peak and their controversy. Durst performed "Break Stuff" as the crowd surged, and early acts of violence and property destruction began, a moment later cited in Netflix documentaries as a key turning point in the festival's collapse. Whether that makes them legendary or catastrophic depends entirely on your vantage point. Either way, nobody who was there forgot it. Durst has repeatedly returned to the spotlight, with European tours in 2021 and 2023 drawing strong crowds and renewed media attention. The joke became the legacy, and Durst understood that before anyone else did.
Keep my pants sagging, keep a skateboard, spray can for the tagging, and I'ma keep a lot of girls on the bandwagon.
Number 6. Nickelback.
This is how you remind me of I really am. This is how.
No band in the history of modern rock has sustained a longer, more enthusiastic, more genuinely puzzling wave of collective mockery than this Canadian quartet. For a solid decade beginning around 2005, disliking Nickelback became a kind of cultural shorthand, a quick signal of taste and self-awareness. Memes multiplied, Facebook groups formed. A petition in 2011 demanded they be removed from a Detroit Thanksgiving Day NFL halftime show, gathering thousands of signatures within days. And yet, the numbers told a completely different story. They sold over 50 million albums worldwide. How You Remind Me reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in December 2001 and was later named the most played song of the entire decade by Billboard magazine. Chad Kroeger's distinctive gravel and honey voice was apparently exactly what an enormous portion of the planet wanted to hear. The hatred became a cultural institution. The music quietly kept selling. Before we continue, which of these acts genuinely surprised you the most? Did you ever find yourself secretly enjoying a band you were supposed to hate? Drop a comment below and let us know where you are watching from tonight.
We wonder like this, why weren't we able to see this?
Number 5. Insane Clown Posse.
I'll probably just show up, looking like I always do, and looking by my ABI and tell
Face paint, carnival mythology, a 2-liter bottle of Faygo sprayed over crowds of thousands. From the outside, the world of Insane Clown Posse looked like the logical endpoint of bad taste taken to its absolute extreme. Detroit rappers Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope built an entire cosmology called the Dark Carnival around their music, complete with a 6-album narrative arc called the Joker Card series, releasing albums between 1992 and 2002 that mapped a spiritual journey through horror imagery and black comedy. Their fans, called Juggalos, became so devoted and so numerous that the FBI classified them as a loosely organized gang in a 2011 National Gang Threat Assessment report, a designation the ACLU later challenged in federal court on their behalf. The annual gathering of the Juggalos Festival, launched in 2000, has continued for over 2 decades, drawing tens of thousands of attendees yearly to rural fairgrounds for an event unlike anything else in music. The 2010 video for Miracles, in which the duo expressed genuine wonder at magnets and pelicans, became one of the most viewed viral comedy clips of the year. The mockery was total. The empire beneath it was real.
Air and dirt. Magnets, how do they work? And I don't want to talk to a scientist.
Number 4. The Shaggs.
People want what the poor people's got, and the poor people want what...
In 1968, a New Hampshire man named Austin Wiggin became convinced through a palm reading that his daughters would become famous musicians. He pulled Dorothy Betty and Helen Wiggin out of school, bought them instruments they had never played, and booked studio time at Fleetwood Studios in Revere, Massachusetts. The resulting album, Philosophy of the World, pressed in a run of approximately 900 copies, contained performances so rhythmically disconnected from themselves that producers reportedly needed multiple takes simply to get the band to start songs simultaneously. The album vanished. Then, in 1980, Rounder Records reissued it through its Red Rooster imprint, and something remarkable happened. Critics and musicians encountered it without the filter of embarrassment and heard something else entirely. Frank Zappa famously called them better than the Beatles. Kurt Cobain was reported by multiple sources to have placed Philosophy of the World on his personal list of favorite albums, a claim that circulated widely through the music press of the early 1990s. Music theorists began writing seriously about the accidental complexity of their timing, the sincerity of their melodies stripped of all conventional skill. What sounded like failure in 1968 sounded, by 1990, like a document of something pure and unrepeatable.
There are times when I feel blue. What makes me feel this way the
Number 3. Poison.
No one could have saved the love that night if I know what to say.
Awkwardness by The Case. Eyeliner applied before soundcheck. Spandex in colors not found in nature. When Bret Michaels and his bandmates arrived in Los Angeles in the early 1980s, they looked like a fever dream assembled from a thrift store and a beauty school. Serious rock critics dismissed them before the needle hit vinyl. Established hard rock acts reportedly refused to share bills with them. The look was so aggressively theatrical, so committed to excess, that even the excess-saturated Sunset Strip scene took a moment to process them. Look What the Cat Dragged In was released in 1986 and steadily climbed to triple platinum certification without a single ounce of critical support. Open Up and Say Ah followed in 1988, going 5 times platinum and producing Every Rose Has Its Thorn, which reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on December 24, 1988. Talk Dirty to Me, Nothing But a Good Time, and Unskinny Bop became permanent fixtures of classic rock radio. The look that made them a punchline also made them utterly unforgettable. Every hair metal act that followed owed something to Poison's willingness to be laughed at first and celebrated second. Number 2. Milli Vanilli. More than 10 million copies of Girl You Know It's True sold worldwide. A Grammy Award for Best New Artist in February 1990. A fan base that crossed continents. For approximately 18 months, Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus were the most visible pop act on the planet, and their success looked as airtight as their choreography. Then, during a live performance at Lake Compounce in Connecticut on July 21, 1989, the backing track skipped and repeated the phrase "Girl, you know it's true" on a loop, while the duo continued miming on stage, unable to stop. The incident was captured on video and spread through entertainment media over the following months. In November 1990, producer Frank Farian confirmed publicly what the skipping track had suggested. Neither Morvan nor Pilatus had sung a single note on any of their recordings. The Grammy was rescinded, the only time in the award's history that has occurred. The scandal was total. Yet the songs have never disappeared. Girl, You Know It's True, Blame It on the Rain, and Baby Don't Forget My Number remain immediate triggers of recognition for anyone who lived through the late 1980s. The hoax became history. The hooks survived everything. Number 1. Steel Panther.
But my tongue is community property.
For nearly a decade before their 2009 debut album Feel the Steel, they performed under names including Metal School on the Sunset Strip, packing venues like the Viper Room and Key Club with audiences who came expecting a comedy act and left genuinely entertained by the musicianship underneath the wigs. The 4 members, vocalist Michael Starr, guitarist Satchel, bassist Lexi Fox, and drummer Styx Zadinia, were all seasoned professionals who had spent years in serious bands before committing fully to the bit. Feel the Steel charted on the Billboard 200 upon release, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard Comedy Albums chart, a result virtually no one had predicted. Community Property became a well-known single. Their subsequent albums, Balls Out in 2011 and All You Can Eat in 2014, both charted internationally. They performed at Download Festival and toured alongside established rock acts who initially treated them as a novelty and eventually acknowledged their technical ability. Steel Panther did not accidentally stumble into legend. They engineered it, one perfectly timed hair flip at a time, and the fact that it was all a glorious, sequined joke made it more legendary, not less.